Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Rose Theater Weekly. I'm Christina Maroney, your host and RHS theater teacher. Thanks for joining us for the final episodes for this school year as we're wrapping up. Y'all, it's June, which is kind of crazy, but there we are. So this week I wanted to tell you about the shows that we are doing next year. I made the official announcement in Throm this week for those of you who were there, but if you weren't, I wanted to spend some time telling you about the shows that I chose, where you can find more information, and what that's going to look like for us for next year, as far as we know at this point. As most of you know, we do 2 shows a year. We generally do 1 play and 1 musical. And the first show, whichever that is, and it varies depending on the year, is in November. And the second show is generally toward the end of February. We've had it later in the year, but it just depends on scheduling. So the plan at this point, before I go on, please know, is subject to change, because everything is subject to change in our world right now. So in a perfect world where everything was magically back to normal, this is how we would go about things. But since I don't know if that's the case, please understand that we will need to be flexible. If things change, then this may change as well. This coming school year, we are planning on putting the play in our November time slot, and if that needs to change given circumstances, then we have some potential adjustments to make there. But either way, the play we are planning on is called She Kills Monsters, specifically the Young Adventurers edition. So it is about this girl named Agnes, who is a senior in high school, and her younger sister Tilly dies in a car crash before the play even starts. Agnes feels like she didn't get to know Tilly very well when she was alive, and she finds this homemade D&D module that Tilly created. Turns out she was a big D&D player. And Agnes takes it to this other high school kid who essentially acts as her dungeon master and walks her through the game for Agnes to get to know her sister. It's super fun in terms of characters. You have everything from in the real world, the cheerleaders and the jocks, the real friends, the fake friends, people you've certainly met before in your own life. And then in-game you also have Orcus and demons and elves and all of these other characters that you would actually find in real D&D games. It's very funny, and it also has moments that are really touching, and it does a great job of exploring issues that people face today at that age. So things like getting to know yourself and understand who you are, and it does a really nice job of covering those topics in a way that is relatable. Plus, puppets and monsters and fun soundtracks, all of it rolled into one. It's a really good show, and I'm excited about it. Our second show of the year is our musical, and this next year, the musical is going to be Matilda. So it is the Matilda that was written by Roald Dahl as a book, and then it was later made into a movie in the late 90s, early 2000s, one of the two. Danny DeVito was in it. And so it is the story of this little girl named Matilda, and she loves to read, she's very creative, but her family is sort of awful, and she ends up going to school and has this terrible headmistress called Miss Trunchbull, and she ends up also having a really sweet, wonderful teacher named Miss Honey, and they get really close, and they develop this wonderful relationship. One of the things you see from Matilda is, for a brief time, she actually has telekinetic powers, and so she can make things move with her mind. And so she uses that to be able to set some things right. I don't want to give anything away if you haven't read it. And there is a happily ever after to the story. This show has some great characters. Matilda, of course, Miss Honey, and the Trunchbull, who is traditionally played by a man in drag. Doesn't have to be, but often is. But there's some other great characters too, like Matilda's parents and brother are all these delightful comic characters. There's all of the kids at the school, and they have a lot of featured singing and dance numbers. The music reminds me a lot of Sondheim in the way that it's very complex and intricate and wordy in places, but it's a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be a really great challenge and very rewarding for a lot of people. If you want to know more about either of these shows, you can find out information more about plot, specifics about characters. For the musical, you can find out vocal ranges even on, you guessed it, my website, rhsdrama.com. So check it out there. You can find all of that info, and if you have any questions, you can certainly ask. As far as audition information, I don't post that until we get closer to it because, as I said, we don't know when that's going to be or what that will look like, but I will definitely have that posted on the website as well as in the black box area in my classroom once we get back to school. As some of you know, I issued a challenge to my classes in the last week, and the challenge was to create a DIY superhero or supervillain. It could be a brand new character or a character that, say for example, was generally nice and they were turned into a villain for some reason. So anybody who wanted to submit something had to give us the name of the character, a photo of them dressed as this character using only things that they could find at their house, so it has to be DIY, and an origin or backstory to the character, what made them who or what they are now. So I have looked through them, I showed them to Xavier, my husband, and he got to make the decision. And so, without further ado, the winner, for bragging rights only, of that contest this week is Alana, who created the character Aurea, who is an everyday superhero. She is a merchant, but only as a front. She actually smuggles refugees into safe houses. Congratulations on your bragging rights. Thank you for submitting, and thanks to everybody who submitted a character for the challenge this week. Now, I wanted to take some time to celebrate our seniors in the theater department, those of you who have been around for a while, been in the classes, been in shows, helped us out, and just wanted to get to celebrate you and let people know what you're up to. So, montage. Away we go. Alana has been here since the beginning, from playing the Sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood to the minstrel in Once Upon a Mattress, as well as doing tech. Alana then went on sophomore year to be the stage manager and tech for Arsenic and Old Lace, as well as the Mother Abbess and tech in Sound of Music. The next year, she played Jo and did tech for Little Women, played Blind Pew and did tech for Treasure Island. You're sensing a theme here. And then this year, most recently, she played Ellie and did tech for Freaky Friday, and then played Florence in The Curious Savage. She's also been involved in the children's literacy play for the last couple of years, and last year even wrote and directed it, which in fact it was a musical for the first time in my tenure at RHS. Alana is planning to stick around for a while and go to UCC, and then is looking at some options of doing potentially tech, which should be unsurprising, in the future for work. I've said it before and I'll say it again, Alana, you are going to skyrocket when you are ready to go out and tackle the tech world in theater. So, what are you waiting for? Go. Aiden started in tech his sophomore year and he just kept going. He did tech for Arsenic and Old Lace, he did tech as well as assistant stage managed for Sound of Music, did tech and stage managed for Little Women, and then did tech and stage managed for Treasure Island. His senior year he decided to try out being on stage as opposed to backstage, so in Freaky Friday he was Officer Kowalski, and in The Curious Savage he was Samuel Savage. I'm not sure what Aiden's plans are, but I'm sure they will be delightful. Keep doing good work, Aiden. Thank you for all your time, and I hope to see you in the future. Cosette has not been with us here that long at RHS, but she has made a huge impact in the time she has been here. On stage, she played our lead hag and one of the dancers in Little Women. She was Israel Hands in Treasure Island, and this year she took a starring role as Catherine Blake in Freaky Friday, followed by Lilybelle Savage in The Curious Savage, as well as being in the children's literacy play. Cosette is going to be attending the Oregon Center for Performing Arts at Southern Oregon University in the fall. She's planning to get her bachelor in musical theater. And she says, "Theater has taught me to love myself and others for everything we already are, not what we could be." Cosette, You really take that to heart and are a great role model for that, and I know you're going to do wonderful things. So save me those front row tickets once you get on Broadway, sis. Felix has been involved in the theater department all 4 years and started appearing on stage in shows his sophomore year. He was Officer Klein in Arsenic and Old Lace. He played Herr Zeller in Sound of Music, and then went on to be Braxton as well as a tech for Little Women, and Jim Hawkins, the lead, as well as a tech in Treasure Island. This year, he was assistant stage manager for Freaky Friday. He played Jeffrey in The Curious Savage, and he's also appeared in the children's literacy plays. Felix is actually going to be heading out to go live with Dad in Wisconsin and going to be going to a community college there and hoping to come back to Oregon to finish up education at Portland State, hoping to pursue art or psychology. And he says this: "I'd just like to thank everybody I've met these past 4 years. You've all made your own unique impact on me, and I can never truly thank you enough for helping me stay positive throughout the hardest years of my life. I know I'm still not the best at expressing how much I love and appreciate you all, but know that I do. I love you and I love our theater department. And though I may be moving states away for the next 2 years, I most definitely plan on coming back to visit the place I call home." John often laments the fact that he did not join the theater department until his junior year as a tech and then senior year on stage, but we have really enjoyed having him in that time. He did tech for Little Women and Treasure Island, and this year he was Mike in Freaky Friday and Titus Savage in The Curious Savage, and did tech for both of those shows as well. He was also involved in the literacy play this year. I know John is planning to stick around and go to UCC for a while and continue to be involved at UACT, which I think is a great idea. John, I hope I get to work with you in the future here at UACT. It's going to be great. Congratulations. Malachi came to us partway through their high school career. They were first seen on stage in Sound of Music as a soldier and party attender, and then went on to get their first main role as Ben Gunn in Treasure Island. And this year was Adam in Freaky Friday and Hannibal in The Curious Savage, as well as being featured in the literacy play. Malachi says as soon as Portland opens back up, they plan on moving there to be closer to the other side of their family and go to Portland Community College for general education with a side of video production. Malachi already has an apartment a few blocks from PCC and plans on getting an animal companion for their adventures in the big city. Well, Malachi, I hope you have wonderful adventures, and I look forward to following along with them. Matt has been involved in tech for the last 2 years, as well as doing light op for Freaky Friday and Curious Savage, both shows this year. Matt has been great to have in the department. He's been a real big help, particularly with the lighting production and operation, super reliable, and I look forward to seeing whatever adventures he plans to go on next. Peyton showed up in theater on stage his sophomore year. He was part of what I lovingly refer to as the Old Man Brigade in Arsenic and Old Lace. He was Rolf in Sound of Music, and then a knight as well as a dancer in Little Women, Captain Flint and additional pirates in Treasure Island, and then this year in Freaky Friday he was Officer Sitz as well as a student and dancer, and in Curious Savage he played Dr. Emmett. His plans after high school are to go to the University of Oregon and major in chemistry and decide from there. Peyton, it's been so great to see you grow through the years, and I really appreciate that you've been part of the program. Best of luck to you. Sophia was involved in theater in the last 2 years of high school. In Little Women, she was part of the HAG squad, as well as being a dancer and helping with tech. In Treasure Island, she played Josiah Bland, and in Freaky Friday, she was Gretchen's mom, as well as doing tech, and was also in tech for part of Curious Savage. Sophia probably has some plans that she's very excited about, and I hope they go well for her. And on that note, that's all I have for you. If you have any questions about shows coming up, or how that's going to look, or classes for next year, or anything else I can help you with, please do reach out. Stay safe, keep making art,